Well, the scenery in front of a Valley man's home is changing, and he says a change is needed. Now he wants to know when it will all begin.
Channel 5's Frank McCaffrey spoke with a man and Customs and Border Protection about the project.
Anastasio Farias has lived in rural Mission since 1970. He says life on the border with Mexico can bring its challenges. Anastasio Farias says his part of the county was very different 48 years ago when he moved in. He says he rarely, if ever, saw people crossing the border illegally, but he notes there was the occasional argument on his block.
There was, families feuding, but not most of us. We were just here. But it was totally different as far as activity.
He says a lot has changed since those days, and he's seen in recent years more activity from people crossing over from Mexico into the U.S. He says he sees a lot of people trying to get into the U.S. right across the street from his house.
But it's mostly at the gates, at the levees, at the fence, where there's a gap. That's where we see little bunches of them.
Farias tells us seeing patrolling Border Patrol agents is a common sight these days.
There's been a lot of Border Patrol vehicles driving fairly fast. You want to get out of the way. Helicopters daily, 2 or 3 times a day, hovering close to here. And there's been people captured here in this property.
Farias says he doesn't know if a border wall on the levees will work or not. He adds he wants to know when the wall's construction will begin. We reached out to Customs and Border Protection to see when it plans to start the wall across the street from Farias. A spokesperson for CBP Border Patrol, Francisco Vallejo, says starting today, contractors for the Army Corps of Engineers are starting geometric surveying. We captured the workers on camera today just across the street from Farias. They're working on an IBWC levee between Abram and Mission, the planned alignment of the first border wall segment in Hidalgo County. Vallejo says they're doing a soil sample to see what elements those constructing the wall will have to deal with. He adds the wall construction project should start in a few months.
This is the initial phase, so they're out there doing soil sampling.
When is the actual border wall project supposed to start?
So we have a tentative schedule of either February, March timeframe.
Vallejo says the surveyors working this week will be finished with their work on Friday. CBP is not commenting on when this stretch of the border wall will be completed. Farias says he'll expect to see more workers arriving soon. In the Channel 5 News studio, Frank McCaffrey, Channel 5 News at 6.
Surveyors are using soil from the levees to determine a few things. This is a Channel 5 News Extra. In a release, CBP states soil samples will be taken from the borings and trenches. CBP says it'll be used to identify soil properties and characteristics in areas where the wall is scheduled to be built next year.